What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show here on Sherdog.com. My name is Sean Sheehan, joined today by Patrick Downey, who makes his Bellator and MMA debut on August 12th at Bellator 284 against Jeff Souder. Patrick, how are you? The first question I have to ask you, I'm sitting here in Ireland, and with a name like Patrick Downey, you have to have some Irish in you. How Irish are you, first of all? Let us know. We want to claim you. We take all the fighters we can over here in Ireland. Can we take you? How Irish are you?
Let's go, man. I'm trying to get claimed by Ireland, man. I got my Irish family crest on me. That was my first tattoo when I was 15. My dad said if I won a state title, I could get it, and he loves claiming Ireland as our roots. You know, I know I'm very native on my mom's side, and like Native American Indian, and but the rest is Irish, baby. So Pat Downey, we St. Patty's Day is our shit, man. In Baltimore, the parade, you know. And I would love to get on this Ireland card. I've been all over the country, all over the world, you know, probably almost 50 countries, and Ireland is on my list. And I've never been, and there's a card in Ireland next September, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Hopefully I can. Not taking any damage, make a quick turnaround and come, honestly, I want to represent Ireland because of the cancel culture that happened with USA Wrestling and me getting taken off. I'm trying to work on my dual citizenship and make this Irish wrestling team for the next Olympics. That's actually a goal of mine. So hopefully I can lay the groundwork here with this interview and this next fight in Bellator and get some stuff like that taken care of.
I can tell you this, Ireland loves Olympic medals, and especially in the combat sport, so I don't think you'd have much trouble doing that, to be honest. I think you'd probably be able to get it, and we'd be delighted to have you as well. I wanted to ask you about your college career as well, and obviously you said it there about the cancel culture, and you had, I suppose, lots of ups but lots of downs in college as well. How do you kind of reflect on your time in college and your time with American wrestling?
Yeah, I've always had a problem. I love wrestling. Saved my life. I love the people I met in it, the coaches, and especially the teammates, and it's afforded me great opportunities throughout college, and especially obviously the world level, senior level wrestling. But my time in college, I always had trouble with the NCAA. You know what I mean? And whether it was transfer rules or smoking weed or whatever it was, I was like always never fucking allowed to wrestle in the tournament. I only got to wrestle at one time, and they bumped me up to 197 when I'm going to win it at 84, and I get I don't even get a fair showing. I ended up All-American, but I got a JUCO national title. But my college wrestling career is pretty much a dud. You look at my wrestling, you look at my total match and my whole body of work for how good I was coming into it, the only world medalist in 2012 at the junior level, and being a blue chip recruit out of high school at the Olympic Training Center, and just the level I was on, and it showed at the world level. But it kind of stings, because now the transfer rules are different. There's a lot of shit that's not the same the way it was. I don't even know if they're still testing for weed. Maybe they are, but these coaches knew who I was getting recruited. I've always been honest. Me and the NCAA or me or USA Wrestling, we just never seem to see eye to eye, these governing bodies,
So do you think you'd be better suited to MMA? MMA doesn't, we all know MMA doesn't have half the rules that real sports have, if you want to put it that way.
I've never had a problem with USADA. I mean, I don't cheat. I don't do PEDs. I'm good with that. I love fair play and no cheaters. But I definitely feel like I'm going to fit in and be well taken by the MMA community as opposed to like where I was kind of shunned out of the wrestling community. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was that always in your mind to go to MMA? And obviously, by the way you're talking, this made it quicker, that decision to go over to MMA. How long have you been actually transitioning over to MMA? When did you give up on the wrestling and transition over to fully go into an MMA career?
Well, I still wrestled damn near 3 to 4 times a week. I run the wrestling programs all over here too, at the highest level, getting guys ready for their ADCCs, and I'm learning grappling and jiu-jitsu. But at the same time, I've been brought in for a while now to a lot of different MMA camps, and just the nature of the sport. I mean, it's how could I not? I'd be lying if I said it didn't have my interest for a long time. I've definitely been studying it and watching it and a fan of it. And then you brought in to train with like Colby, Covington, or you're trained at the Olympic Training Center with Kamaru Usman, and you're this close with these guys. I can go on and on how many wrestlers I know that have successfully transitioned into MMA. I mean, shit, look at Daniel Cormier. He didn't make his debut until he was 30. And here I am turning 30 August 7th, making my debut 5 days after. So it's kind of cool, you know, new decade, new sport. It's almost, and I'm healthy, you know, fucking no more injuries, no more weird skin shit, nothing, you know, mentally healthy, physically, emotionally, you know, I'm sleeping again, you know, I'm doing everything right. I'm training. So I feel like it's good.
That's great. I want to ask you, like, how did you have any other backgrounds? Like, a lot of people maybe do a bit of Golden Gloves when they're young, a bit of boxing or a bit of jiu-jitsu or anything like that. Obviously, you know, I saw you with Gordon Ryan against him. Did you do a lot of jiu-jitsu before that? Did you do any boxing or anything, or was it all wrestling for you?
No. I didn't focus on wrestling until I was like 18, 19. I always did everything. But it was more so just being a well-rounded athlete. Lacrosse, basketball, football. I was a 3-sport athlete all the way through college, you know, starting quarterback, safety, face-off, midi. But growing up, yeah, boxing, judo, not so much jiu-jitsu because I was like a big street fighter. And in street fighting, wrestling, you slam somebody, the goal of wrestling is on your feet. You know, nobody's on there. Gordon Ryan match was my debut of jiu-jitsu. You know, it just so happened against to be like the number one, pound for pound, arguably the GOAT. You know, I didn't know what I know now about the sport and him, but this motherfucker, I gave him more of a fit than all these black belts do. So like, you know what I'm saying? So like and where I come from, you're not doing that sliding on your ass. Once he realized he couldn't take me down on our feet, you don't slide on your ass in the alley or concrete. You're getting outnumbered, you're getting stabbed, you're getting banked, you're getting stomped. The goal in fighting in Baltimore is to stay on your feet, slam motherfuckers on their neck, stay on your feet, and keep space. You're always outnumbered. Nobody's fighting me one-on-one back home. So I had to learn for survival. I was fighting to stay alive. You know what I mean? Jiu-jitsu was no concern of mine until I got exposed to it out there at, Nicky Rod and Gordon Ryan and then Wagner, and seeing these guys what they can do on the mat with me. And that was just for the transition to MMA, because this MMA shit ain't a street fight. I'm like, okay, I got to learn these skills for this transition.
A lot of people, they view MMA more and more as a sport all the time. It feels like you kind of view it more as a fight, a visceral sort of fight. And obviously you said there it's kind of changed a bit now the more that you train. But are you entering this fight as a fight? Or are you entering as a sporting endeavor?
No, I definitely see the sporting aspect of it. That's what I'm saying. I definitely see how it's not a fight. I definitely see how it's MMA is a sport. And that was my conception of it as a fan, watching it, and then per se actually doing it and training it and quickly understanding, okay, this ain't that.
I want to ask you about a very interesting, I've talked a lot recently to different people about how specialization has a future in mixed martial arts. So obviously we've seen it back in the day, you know, with Heist Gracie was a great jiu-jitsu artist, and we've seen kickboxers do well and wrestlers do well. But it feels like, especially today, but in 5 and 10 years time as well, when you'll be obviously climbing the ranks over the next few years, that specialization is a tougher thing to do, that you need to be a well-rounded fighter and that you need to have everything to show off your unbelievable wrestling, or if you're a kickboxer, to show off your unbelievable kickboxing. For you at the moment, is it all about learning the other things for you? Or are you going into this looking to be like, well, I'm an unbelievable wrestler, I'm going to use my wrestling non-stop? Are you looking at it as this is the first step for me to climb to the very top? Yeah,
well said. Well put. Like, good points. Like, I definitely agree. And given that the nature, like me, like being a developmental contractor and a developmental athlete, I think there's like two sides of the coin. One side of me wants to go out and efficiently kill this guy as quickly as possible so I can set myself up to make a quick turnaround in Ireland. You know what I mean? Give myself all the ability to be like, hey, let me get on this card now. Another side of me thinks like, hey, should I go out there, develop, and like mix it up, see the whole MMA side of the game? Because I think I have options, and that I think I can do both of them things, and that's also, I think, part of the allure of tuning in, right, on my debut. I haven't really, if you see my Instagram, you'll see me grappling and wrestling. You see my shoes on, but like, this is by design. I'm intentionally not showing my other training. You know what I mean? Why would I? That's the whole allure to me. Can this motherfucker do anything else? So you guys got to tune in and watch. You know what I'm saying?
that's always been an allure in MMA, and I feel like obviously you said it there, but training Sanford MMA, if I'm not mistaken, aren't you? Like in my opinion,
No, I haven't been.
Oh, you haven't?
Since Charles. No, I moved to Miami, and my grandfather passed, and I crashed my car. I just haven't had transportation up to North, and I've been training out of Fight Sports and KO Zone and strength and conditioning with my heavy metal forge maces and my Bulgarian. I run that on my own, my cardio, everything, the beach, the running, the biking, the swimming, and the swinging. I run my strength. So it was really, and then I got Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, UFC vet, and, I got Johansi Mejias, Cuban national team wrestler. So I got some tough training partners, and then obviously my grapplers at Fight Sports, some of the best in the world, Wagner, Cyborg, Roosevelt, Joe, all these guys, they're preparing for their ADCCs.
Yeah. What about the striking and MMA aspect of it? So I know obviously you said you do Pena, but is there any, I know obviously at Sanford they have world-class strikers that we all know about. Who are the type of guys, who are the type of trainers that you're with to improve the stand-up and the all-around MMA game?
And so really it's been me and my training partner here, and with Luis Pena, imitation's the greatest form of flattery. He just lost a suspect decision to Will Brooks, one of the greatest lightweights, in the sport. And if you watch that fight, you'll be like, damn, this guy, So, just in general, him, but at Stanford, I had a lot of bodies. When I was there, I was able to utilize, just Coach Hoof's system, just learning from guys like Gilbert and Derek and Brunson and, a little bit with Chandler here and there. But Ung La, really, him from one. Ung is really a good guy. I can go on. A lot of the heavyweights, Steve and Linton, just sparring with them. It's not ideal because I'm getting ready for the Olympic trials, but I've been in this, and even an American Top Team with Mako, all the way back with Covington. I've been around the block with some high level people,
And how did it go? Let's say you go in there with Covington, or you go in there with Usman or Gilbert. Are you holding your own with those guys even right now, or what way is it going?
I can say that, I get to a point where it does turn into a bit of survival mode. I'm there to wrestle with Colby, and his southpaw maybe hits me with a liver shot kick to the first time, and I'm like, ooh, this is okay, we better start wrestling or something, because this shit does hurt too. You gotta calcify your body and get ready for it. I'm still at the time preparing for wrestling competition. I'm flying out to Russia or Poland. So I haven't really had a good chance to evaluate sparring with these higher level guys since I've committed 100% to MMA. So I'm excited to, get back in the gym, and I think I'll be heading over to Sweden right after this fight to check out Hamza and help get him ready. So I got some stuff in mind with their coaches, and I met Latifi here. He came to my wrestling practice at Fight Sports. So there's a lot of cool shit going on that, I'm going to be testing myself at the highest level in this game the same way I did with wrestling. I'm not getting in this sport half-assed.
What's your dog's name? I have to say, I see him walking around there behind you. What's the dog's name?
Do you?
Yeah.
You see him on my neck. Mojo. I got a dog named Mojo, man. He just got this fucking ball he wants me to play so bad.
Go on, throw it. It'll be a good part of the interview. Let's do it.
The ball, he wants the ball. I don't know if you can see it. I'm flipping the camera.
He's lovely. I can see it. Yeah, that's great.
He's 100% rare good boy.
I love it. You spoke there about wrestling, Russian wrestling, a second ago, and there was a thing a couple of years ago that people were saying every Bellator champion is going to be a Russian wrestler in a few years, and it really kind of hasn't worked out that way. Although there are a lot of very good Russian and Eastern European wrestlers in Bellator. What would you say as an American wrestler coming through? The difference between, say, the Russian wrestling and the American wrestling is in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, another good question. You definitely see them. The difference is they're not just holding. These Americans, they just get their hands locked and they squeeze, they hold, and they show you how strong they are. You know what I mean? And these Eastern Europeans are joint immobilizing. They're attacking joints. They're at different areas. They're locking you down. They're using their legs as arms, and they're grappling with their feet, and they're climbing, and they're they're advancing the position and then they're damaging. They're advancing the position and then they're finishing. You know, it's not just MMA wrestling. They do like even the Khabib style. Like it's not freestyle. It's not folk style. It's not jiu-jitsu. I mean, these guys are in these motherfucking Caucasus Mountains doing some different shit. You know, there's sambo / jiu-jitsu. Like, really, it's a different sport. I've been there. I've been there 3 times. Vladikavkaz, Ossetia, you know, Dagestan, and Krasnoyarsk. You know, I'm very well familiar and well traveled. I've been at the highest level for a long time, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about when these guys are bringing something different to the table, you know what I mean? So studying them and actually submerging myself in that culture for 2 weeks at a time, or, you know what I mean, like really diving in, it gives you, you know, like Wagner will say it all the time. He's like, oh, you're like nobody I've ever wrestled. I consider myself very un-American style, you know? So like, that's definitely something complements my wrestling. You know, I'm not freestyle, Greco, folk style. You know, my wrestling is different.
100%. I have 2 more questions here, and I really appreciate the time. You mentioned earlier on about the red skin syndrome, and I want to ask you about that. I actually know someone who's going through the same thing at the moment, and it's a very, very tough thing to go through. I saw you put up pictures and things. How was that for? Obviously, you had a fight cancelled because of it. How was that going through that, and what's the situation with it now? Is it all cleared up? But tell us about how it was.
Well, I got some scars here from skin biopsies. We thought it was Red Man Syndrome, TSW. You know, they call it both things. And just because of how the misdiagnosis is, like, you know, I still have so many medical bills that I accrued from that too. You know, not the cancel culture, not having my own fucking insurance. You know, hopefully everything gets taken care of, which I think it will. But it was terrible, man. Honestly, the worst side effect of it was the insomnia, because you can't get comfortable to sleep because you're like itching, like it's you're red and rashy. But it was actually not Red Man Syndrome. It ended up being a photoallergenic spongiotic dermatitis, basically because I'm so like taken care of with my skin, because I wrestle and grapple and fight all the time. I know that so something that I was using, whether it was like an essential oil, because I know I have sensitive skin too. I've had a lot of different shit throughout my career. So I also have a lot of different creams, and I also have, you know, a lot of different healthy natural stuff. So when I was using this stuff, I started breaking out, and I'm not treating it correctly. And the sun, the photoallergenic, is reacting with the cream, causing like the spongiotic, which is why my skin was all inflamed and fluidy and jiggling, and it was like a dermatitis. So basically it was some crazy allergic reaction with this, maybe the climate and the sun. It started going away on its own and like lowering my stress. I still have to get patch testing done by a dermatologist to determine what the original allergic reaction was, you know what I mean, with the sun and shit, because I still don't know.
That's tough. Yeah, look really, really often. Hopefully it clears up enough. And training and that and fighting on it just must be so bad. So I hope that clears up for you. Last thing I want to ask you about Jeff Souder, obviously your opponent. He's a pretty good athlete as well. I think he played in the NFL for a bit and had played a bit of American football, obviously in college and stuff as well. Has a good bit of experience at the amateur level. What have you kind of seen? Have you watched much of him? What do you think of him? What have you seen in him?
Yeah, pretty athletic kid. I think you know he's got a good base, but you know I love fighting dudes that are like football players. I think they're big and strong, and I don't know, cool that he's willing to take the fight. I just need a good opponent, and I think he, you know, perfect match. He's got his, believe it's his pro debut too, right?
Yeah, I think he's 4 or 5 amateur fights. Yeah, with pro debut. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've seen some clips of him getting taken down. I mean, if these bones are taking him down, I'll probably, you know, I don't know. Hopefully he's been practicing, you know, getting off his back, and maybe he's got some jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. I don't know, but I don't think that shit's going to save him in football.
Yeah. He's a couple of front chokes, though. I saw he won one fight by a front choke, so maybe watch out for that. Go do it to all wrestling, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm grappling with some of the best people in the world, man, on a daily basis. I ain't getting shit choked out.
Patrick, I really appreciate the time. Thank you very much. It was great to talk to you, and best luck in your fight at Bellator 284.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on. Let's lay the groundwork for the next one. What's it? Ireland's 285?
Yeah, 285. I think. Yeah, it should be fun. I hope you're on it. It'll be another. We need another great edition. It's a great card, but another great fight to be very interesting. That
would be sick, man. Lay the groundwork for some Team Ireland stuff. Get my pass. Get my dual citizenship. Get it lined up. Bring me and Mojo over.
Let's do it. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. Have a good day.